Hey, today's show is brought to you by Squad QL. Wanting an unfair advantage to dominate your fantasy football league? Well, look no further than Squad QL, the only mobile app you need to crush your friends and rivals this year. Squad QL recommends the best starting lineup for each week based on your starters, your bench players, and the free agent pool. Head to squadql.com to download Squad QL for free. Again, that's squadql.com to download the app for free.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from the Playdraft Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Hey, everybody.
How are you feeling today, Andy?
You know, when the sun is shining, you got to walk outside, my friends.
I don't know why.
It's gonna be a good day. No, it's a wonderful day. I don't know why it's a wonderful day. Do you guys know why it's a wonderful day?
I think if the amount of Todd Gurley decorations that have mysteriously shown up in our set today, I have a feeling Andy got here a little bit before us, Mike.
I think so as well.
I did not notice the corner over there.
You didn't see that?
I did not even realize we had this many different figurines.
I've had to hide them around the office where you guys didn't know they existed for so long that I brought them all out. We've got the Gurley jersey on the wall. We have the Gurley painting. We have multiple variations of the Gurley McFarlane. We have a bobblehead. Look, it's not been the greatest road for us Gurley truthers over the last year and a half.
It's true.
And it was a good day.
Yeah, it was
a real good day. He could have had 5 touchdowns. He could have had 5. He got stuffed on the goal line, and then they threw it at the end. I mean, that is the pen. Look, this is not your grandfather's Rams, and by grandfather I mean Jeff Fisher. This is not your grandfather's Rams. This is look at what Whitworth does for that offensive line. Are you kidding me?
He's a
player.
I love that Sean McVay. This is the head coach of the team. And, I mean, a lot has been said about how young Sean McVay is. But, I mean, he brings a lot here. But what I love is when his team is on defense, he's like, I
don't need to pay attention to
hey,
that.
Wade. Grandpa Wade, handle that. I'm going to be sitting back here scheming up plays for my offense. He's like the head coach from Waterboy. He's like, got his green folder out, and he's like, I got my secret plays.
He's playing Tecmo Bowl, and he hands the controller off.
Yeah,
when his team's playing defense.
I mean, that's for a head coach to, especially like so young, to say, I'm not going to do the defense. I'm going to work on the offense, and succeeded in a big way.
And
although
they did not do the defense.
His defense did not succeed yesterday, so maybe he needs to get a.
I got a lot of son of bum tweets.
More like a son of a bum last night, or like there was some bum defense.
Hey, credit to you, Andy. You said that, and not only did you say, but you did drop the Rams defense. Very contrarian. You thought this would be a higher scoring game, and you said if the over under were 78, you would take the over. Right?
Not quite, but
that's how ridiculous this game was.
You would have won money had you taken the over if the over-under was 78 points.
Wow.
So,
ridiculous. Very
exciting Thursday night game. Redeeming Thursday night right before our eyes. Maybe lost in the Gurley shuffle is another player that deserves a legitimate apology, and that is Jared Goff. Jared Goff is currently...
Does he deserve an apology?
Yes. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
He is currently on pace to make the largest single passer rating jump for a sophomore QB from his rookie season since 1970.
Because he just had to go up 10 points to do that. I mean,
no, the largest gap.
Yeah, but 0 to a number is an infinite growth.
He absolutely deserves an apology because he was on this show and in every media environment under the sun, he was spat upon, and the reaches of Jeff Fisher apparently extended to Jared Goff. I mean, the originality in the offense now, this is not a Super Bowl or playoff team, I don't think. But this is a fun team. This is an exciting team. This is a capable team. This is a team that has put up 40 points two times.
So I just pulled up Pro Football Reference because I wanted to see what just really get a snapshot here of what he has done for the season, that's not what stands out. What stands out is apparently at some time in his life, his nickname has been Mr. Perfect.
Yeah. You talking about Jared Goff?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you grow up in Northern California.
Star quarterback.
Yeah.
Just saying, when your nickname is Mr. Perfect, unless you're Kurt Hennig from the WWF, that's not going to make people really like you.
All right, let's circle back to Gurley. Now, the Twitter groundswell asked for an apology from Mike. I am in a position where I have some defense of you that I want to make. However, do you feel like you owe Todd Gurley an apology?
Are you talking about my number 4 ranked running back on the week?
Well, see, I was going to bring that up. My point was going to be, look, Mike is not an unreasonable soul. If he sees the volume and he sees the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Mike had Todd Gurley ranked higher than Jason or myself, the Gurley Truther, this week. And so Mike, whatever he said about Gurley's skills or talents before, you had him higher.
Look, the volume is there, and San Francisco is not a good defense. And I came in today, like I don't want to rain on the Todd Gurley parade because that was absolute dominance. I have, unfortunately for me, this was not the unfortunate part, but my son had a football game last night, which he dominated.
Did he?
By the way,
how did he do?
Almost had a pick, caught an extra point, had like an 80-yard run. I mean, he's a monster.
Getting off perfect.
Getting off of that.
Yeah.
Getting off of
nice
that
nickname.
So I've gotten to see about half the game. So I know the stat lines, but I need to go back and watch. I'm very excited.
Sure.
Because I saw Todd Gurley in the first half. He looked good. He looked good.
I think he looked better in the second half.
Okay,
Truly.
so I'm very excited
really...
to break down the film. But my concern with Todd Gurley is, everyone is super pumped now. And next week he gets Dallas.
That's a good
That's
matchup.
another good matchup. But after that,
Seattle, Arizona.
It goes Seahawks, Jaguars, Cardinals, Giants, Texans, Vikings. It's six.
That is
six
vomit
of
worthy.
the top 10 defenses right in a row.
So while I've been on board for Todd Gurley in these matchups, but here that's the big stamp.
The rub.
Yeah, where the rubber meets the road. I was trying to avoid a cliche, but when he starts playing those defenses and everyone's like, "Yeah, you should have apologized for Gurley," if he crushes in those games, that's when I would issue the apology.
The quick question of the day was, do you sell Todd Gurley high? Everyone that asked me,
very difficult.
Everyone that asked me last night, I said no, I wouldn't sell him. But here's the deal with selling a player and selling a player high. If you get, look, trade responsibly. Trade responsibly. That's step one. If you get top 3 running back value for Todd Gurley today, and he continues to perform as a top 3 running back because he does, you still made a fair trade. You still traded Todd. Someone told me last night they traded Todd Gurley, and they emailed actually. They said, "Make me feel better. I traded Todd Gurley. I got Carlos Hyde and T.Y. Hilton." And I said,
Hyde had a pretty good game too.
I said, lost in the shuffle. Carlos Hyde, he missed a few snaps, still had 2 touchdowns, had a great game, been running wonderfully all year. T.Y. Hilton, when luck gets back, you got fine value. You'll be okay. Now, as to the schedule, as per son of bum here in the Rams defense and what they look like, I'm not going to read too far into it because the usage, what you're going to see in the second half is you're going to see Gurley littered all over the passing game. I mean, targets down the middle of the field, catching the ball, making plays after the catch. His volume is what doesn't concern me. So if I were the owner of Todd Gurley right now and I had people in my league freaking out and I could go get 2 great players, if I could get A.J. Green and Dalvin Cook for Todd Gurley,
that's a perfect trade.
I would go do it.
That's a perfect trade.
But that applies to every player, right? If you can get better value back, you do it. If not, you don't. Now, Jason, I want to hear, how do you weigh in on the schedule that's difficult? The performance is unmatchable, right? You're not going to have – he already matched last year's touchdown total. He's obviously on his pace for a Melvin Gordon-esque year in the touchdown area. But do you think that the numbers are going to dip, or do you think that he'll be all right?
I think both. I think they will absolutely dip, and he'll be all right. He's not a player where, because of this terrible matchup stretch, that you have to sell because he's going to crap your team. He's too involved in the passing game to completely crap your team right now. That's what I love about him. That's why people will be really wanting to trade for him, but his numbers are going to dip. He's not going to be playing the 49ers, every week. In fact, even though it's in division, the next time he plays the 49ers is week 17, so that probably doesn't count for your league. I would probably be looking to capitalize on this. But
let me throw out a couple names here.
Okay.
Because we're going to get these questions on Twitter.
This is the number one question.
Would you trade Todd Gurley for Zeke?
Yes.
Would you trade Todd Gurley for Kareem Hunt?
No.
Would you
Yes.
trade Todd Gurley for Jay Ajayi?
No.
Yes, because I get a bye week out of that.
But
you're not worried about the injury concerns for Ajayi that keep cropping up compared to Gurley's production? I would not trade.
Not practicing this week.
What would you do, Mike? Would you trade Gurley for Ajayi?
I probably would.
Okay, I would not.
And then the last name, DeVante Freeman.
I would not. The volume difference there is significant.
Yeah, I would want Devonta Freeman plus something.
Okay. I'm just talking one for one because people are going to ask.
Look, we haven't even talked about when a game goes off like this and you got 80 points scored, there are a number of players. I mean, Robert Woods, lost in the background, had over 100 yards. Sammy Watkins needs to be talked about. He's now in the concussion protocol along with Tavon Austin. But Watkins had an absolute monster game, a Willie Mays catch over his shoulder.
That was unbelievable.
I did get to see that one. That was amazing.
So what is Sammy Watkins moving forward? Is this San Francisco? Is that what you saw? Did you see San Francisco's defense as the reason why Sammy had, this team performed so well? They've been back and forth now.
Yeah, they put up 41 points. They're not putting up 41 points on the Reg. This is an outlier game. This is where –
how cool are you right now?
Yeah, this is where, every single player, Marquise Goodwin was great. There was, nobody that you could have started other than Cooper Kupp.
This game reminded me of I'm talking featherweight boxing, okay? So, you're not expecting haymakers. You expect, it's going to be a nice boxing match. It's going to be some jabs. And then they decided – we're going to take the gloves off.
Kicks are allowed.
We're going to go Rambo. We're going to dip our hands in the glass, and now we're going to go at it and just start throwing haymakers, just absolutely devastating each other.
It was a great game. It was great for the NFL. It was great for the NFL in the sense that their adjustment of the extra point caused massive drama increases last night. You missed the extra point, therefore you have to go for an exciting 2-point conversion. You fail that, you have to go for an onside kick.
You
get that, and then
the stupid offensive pass interference call. That's my biggest complaint on the game.
And those Rams jerseys. Whew.
You mean this one?
My
right
goodness, those color rush unis are fire.
It's funny. My wife looked at the TV and she wanted to know what's going on, and she's like, "Man, I hate those yellow jerseys."
Oh no! They're amazing.
Okay, all right. We do have,
but just for Sammy Watkins, through 2 weeks, he was sitting at 7 targets. And I know he played Washington, Josh Norman effect. So for everyone out there who's like, I had Sammy Watkins on my bench, I don't blame you for making that move. He had 88 yards coming into the game. He wasn't getting targeted. He wasn't utilized. But is this the breakout for Sammy Watkins where Jared Goff goes, you know what? I should probably trust this guy because he's really good.
It's great to see the rapport happening, and I'm desperately hoping that he clears the concussion protocol immediately so they can have this full week of building on that. I don't want him to miss the whole week of practice where you can't build on that rapport and then get back in, for Sunday's game. That would make
He's still a low end 2 for me.
Agreed.
And
but that's better than he has been those first 2 weeks.
We are going to talk more about more than the Rams and 49ers.
The game was just so awesome.
Had to start off with all the thoughts there. So many questions. Literally just now, I got another question coming in saying somebody just offered me Odell Beckham Jr. for Todd Gurley. And that is team dependent.
Yeah. But I prefer – if this were a draft from the top, I'd draft Odell Beckham first.
Yeah.
Even after what you know now?
Yeah. I'm saying if we were to start from here, from today, if there was a draft going on – for week 3 games on, I would go Odell Beckham.
All right.
Footclan Friday.
It's Friday, which means it's a Footclan Friday. So if you are a supporter of this show over at jointhefoot.com, every Friday we give away a free $40 gift card to shopballers.com. You can get some swag over there. And today's winner is Mike Tannery.
Hey, Mike Tannery.
Congratulations. Oh, you should always sing the name of the Footclan Friday winner. So
I can do that.
Mike Tannery.
Extra perk is you get your name sung by Mike.
Mike Tannery.
Beautiful. So congratulations on that. This is going to be a great show today. We have what do we got on today's show? We got our draft later on in the show, where we're going to do we're going to each draft 5 quarterbacks and face off head-to-head, see who can win that one, or the loser's going to eat something terrible, which I haven't done yet this week. We're going to double up next week. I was actually out for our lunchtime a couple times. And then we have the rest of the fantasy forecast today, going through the matchups. We've got in and out. We're going to talk through the injuries, the players we think, are they going to play, are they not going to play? And so it's going to be a jam-packed episode. And, maybe it goes long, but who cares?
Who cares? So what?
Who cares? All right, without further ado, let's get into the news.
News and notes from around the league.
All right, we're in the news. You can find us on Twitter, by the way, at the FF Ballers. We always try to post any other relevant news, things that come out after the fact, after the show airs. You can always find it over there. And one of those pieces of news, yesterday we had our starts of the week. I had J.J. Nelson, and Mike had DeVante Parker, and then the show goes up, and about 2 hours later we find out both players suddenly.
Well, DeVante Parker was not sudden. He injured his ankle in the game, but he was able to play through. He got a limited practice on Wednesday, but then he was held out on Thursday. And a downgrade when you've practiced and then all of a sudden you're out the next day, that's
not a good sign.
That's bad news. So I have officially retracted my start of the week on DeVante Parker. If he plays, I'm still going to play him, but you have to have real concern about his ankle. Like, what will he be at 60%?
So who is your new start of the week?
I don't have one yet.
All right.
Do not have one yet.
Come on.
So you're just retracting it, but you...
I'll figure it out.
All right. Follow the Twitters.
Yeah.
Okay. I have J.J. Nelson as my start of the week. He was limited with a hamstring injury. From my understanding, this was something that doesn't look severe thus far. I'm going to keep him as my start of the week. However, I will post and update you with what's going on with J.J. Nelson. The fact of the matter is there are not a lot of passing weapons in Arizona. They face Dallas at home on Monday night, and so I completely understand if you want to go another route and not play the waiting game for Monday Night Football. I still think Nelson, if he plays, will be exceptional, but we do not know. And a reminder as well, we have our Footclan game day alerts that take place at jointhefoot.com each week on Sunday morning, which will let you know of every last-minute active, inactive. 1 hour before the games, you will find that if you're a member at jointhefoot.com. Melvin Gordon was added to the injury report on Thursday, getting in a limited session with a knee injury. Any concern there?
No.
Yeah, not too much there.
Nope.
He wasn't out of the practice, just limited.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and turn here. Vontae Davis, limited again, questionable for Sunday. I doubt he plays. This would be an upgrade for whoever you decide to play for Cleveland. But maybe Cleveland can move the ball a little bit more. I think people were surprised yesterday I did not take the Colts as my almost upset of the week, considering they were underdogs at home against the Browns. But I think the Browns probably win the game.
Ooh, so. Wow. Well, this helps their cause. And like I said, Higgins and Kaiser without Vontae Davis are legitimate options this week.
Last bit of news before we get into in and out. Bill O'Brien said that Deonta Foreman will receive offensive snaps ahead of Alfred Blue when both players are healthy. Alfred Blue had been missing time. Alfred Blue had been the handcuff for Lamar Miller the past couple of years. So, good news for Foreman.
Are you picking him up? I'm talking
I mean,
not a non-handcuff situation. I'm saying, are you stashing him on your bench if you have a spot?
Yeah, for sure. The same way I was Samaje Perine last week, because there's just, when you don't have kind of the 100% locked and loaded situation with a very healthy person ahead, I mean, any rookie is worth rostering in that situation. So D'Onta Foreman, Samaje Perine, I think they're worth stashing and just seeing what happens. It's not somebody I'd start.
Fair.
Do you, as a Lamar Miller owner, Jason, do you feel like...
Well, he's also a Foreman truther, so I mean, this is...
do you try to acquire Foreman if you're a Lamar Miller owner right now?
I mean, I might poke a little bit just to see if I can steal something for free if I've got garbage on my team. I don't think it's a 100% necessary handcuff, but I do like D'Onta Foreman. I think his talent will succeed in the NFL. I think he's good for their scheme, but I don't think he will overtake Lamar Miller. I think it would have to be injury and injury alone because Lamar Miller has a skill set in the passing game that D'Onta Foreman just does not have.
All right, before we move to the in and out portion of the show, I want to thank today's sponsor. You know who they are. They are the studio sponsor of this program, Draft. It's daily fantasy sports. There's no learning curve to draft because you already know how to do it. There's no salary caps. You get to play in a real live snake draft, and you're thinking, oh, well, my draft, it takes forever. No, this draft, it's fast. It's furious. It's intense. It's super fun. You get it done in under 5 minutes. It's just the 1 week draft. There's no management. It's a nice way to up the ante of the fantasy football weekend. I mean, you got your teams. Now you got a little DFS action on the side, and I'm talking you can play there for just $1 if you want. We're going to do a draft on this show, and draft takes care of their players. If you had two of these guys, Jordy Nelson, Jordan Reed, or Jordan Howard last week, they refunded your entry. I mean, they take care
They want it to be
of
fun.
their players. Yeah, exactly. They want you to have fun. They want you to keep coming back. So they take care of you. And for a limited time, all new players can get a free entry when you make your first deposit. Grab the app, search draft, use the promo code BALLERS. That's the promo code BALLERS. Play draft this weekend.
We also want to thank new sponsor of the show, Quip. Okay, this is imagine if Apple designed a toothbrush but didn't have the big price tag. That's what we're talking about with Quip. Look, we all know we should take care of our mouths. Our oral health is important. We all know that.
Especially Jason.
Yeah, that will not fix your grammar, though. I'm sorry. But look, a lot of us, we don't brush our teeth properly, and we don't like thinking about it. I'm a busy guy. I don't want to think about this. That's why I like products like Quip, because they make it super easy to brush better starting today. And starting at just $25, Quip is an electric toothbrush that packs premium vibration and timer features into an ultra-slim design, and it's awesome. You basically subscribe. You get new brush heads every 3 months, which means, guess what? I don't have to think about my toothbrush or any of that stuff ever again. You just have to see it and brush with it yourself. You got to try this out. They got this little cool case. It sticks right to the mirror, slides in and out. It literally looks like Apple designed this toothbrush. And they even won, if you don't want to take it from me, they were on Time Magazine's Best Inventions of the Year in 2016. So right now, go to getquip.com/footballers to get your first refill pack free with a Quip electric toothbrush. That's your first refill pack free at getquip, QUIP.com/footballers, getquip.com/footballers. I guess we'll go ahead and
I was waiting for the drop, man.
You're looking for the Marty McFly?
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
It was funny. My wife is not a big football fan, but she shows an interest in my career and was watching Sammy Watkins last night, and he rolled over for his second touchdown, that great play. She goes, "That's Sammy Biscuits, right?" I said,
so close.
I'm sorry.
Close.
All right.
His name's not Sammy Botkins.
She also had some comments. She was very certain that Paul Perkins was white. Like a white insurance salesman.
Well,
after we made those jokes, so I'm teaching her the ways of the NFL. All right, Sammy Biscuits is why I bring this up. Sam Bradford, in or out this week? What do you think?
In.
I think he's going to play.
I think he's in.
He's been practicing.
Some running backs. DeMarco Murray.
He has not practiced at all this week. I think that he's going to be out.
Yeah, I'm going to say I lean towards out. Friday today is going to be an important day, but I'm really hesitant to play him.
Murray's the kind of guy that he doesn't need to practice and he can play, but that was going to be my question. Do you have confidence playing him?
We had the question earlier this week of if you have both, who would you start? I've switched now. I would start Derrick Henry over DeMarco Murray this week.
I'm voting in for DeMarco Murray, and I would play him over Derrick Henry. Jordan Howard, in or out?
In.
I think he's
limited.
going to play, but that's man. Jordan Howard.
He's been at practice this whole week in limited fashion.
All right, in or out Melvin Gordon?
In.
Jay Ajayi?
In. Because Adam Gase says he's going to play.
Terrence West. Return to practice today.
In, but he's a player I'm probably not going to start if I can avoid it. Buck Allen, I play either way, whether Terrence West plays or not.
Rob Kelly, in or out?
He's been practicing.
Yeah,
I think he's going to play.
He'll play.
ESPN adjusted their own projections for Samaje P. Ryan, basically saying they believe he's going to play. Rex Burkhead, in or out?
Out. He's not been at practice at all since last week.
All right, let's shift to the wide receivers. In or out Jordy Nelson?
In.
Randall Cobb?
Game time decision, I'm saying out.
I'm saying out.
Devonta Parker?
Hey, I think he's going to play, but that's sketchy.
Does it affect, if he doesn't play, does it affect your stream of the week in Jay Cutler?
No, I would still stream him because Kenny Stills is still there.
John Brown, in or out?
Out.
J.J. Nelson?
In. Jerron Brown, in as well.
Danny Amendola?
Ooh, Rule 80-11.
Oh, gosh.
It's in effect this week, my friends.
You think he's in?
He's in.
He's in. That means he's in my lineup.
Philip Dorsett?
I think he'll play, but
who cares? So what?
Yeah.
Robbie Anderson?
Again, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
All right, lastly,
don't start him.
Let me give you all the supposed best tight ends here in the in or out. Rob Gronkowski?
In.
Limited on Thursday, so I would assume he'll play.
Jordan Reed?
He'll play.
In.
Tyler Eifert?
Out.
I think he's going to be out.
Yeah, there's no way.
When in doubt, Eifert's out.
That is a really true great phrase because whenever he's questionable, he don't play.
Nah, take it off.
When in doubt, Eifert's out.
Who needs you?
Love it.
Jimmy Graham?
I'm going to say out. He hasn't practiced at all. No Friday reports yet. I just hate saying whenever you go against Jimmy Graham's health like I did last year, and then it was like, oh, okay, he's a freak to recover that quick from that injury.
Even if he plays, can you play Jimmy Graham?
No, he's not in my lineup this week.
All right, Evan Ingram.
Concussion protocol, limited. I
don't understand. Like, if he's on the field, how has he – I thought you couldn't practice when you're in the concussion protocol. I must not understand.
There are certain things you can do, I believe. Just work on that fitness.
Yeah. I haven't heard officially that he's been cleared, so right now I would say out of my lineup.
Okay, that is it for In and Out. We're going to get back into the games.
Fantasy Forecast.
You remember that what is the hot tip we always give people on waiver day after the waivers have gone through?
See who has
Look
been dropped.
at drops.
Crap.
No, did you outpay? Wait, who'd you pick up?
Well, why don't you summarize the rule first?
So the rule, drop it like it's hot, is always look at who has been dropped because sometimes people on waiver day, they get too excited about the new hotness on the waiver wire and they drop a person that should not be dropped. And a lot of times those guys don't get noticed. And I will just say if your waivers run, day after day, look every day because it's like most people look at the drops that first day when there's so much action, but it's the following days where people try to make sneaky drops and you can pick guys up. What happened, Andy?
Well, in our league of records, somebody decided to drop Jaquiz Rogers.
Dang it, man! I knew I should bid more.
You would not have been close to what Andy paid.
What did he pay? I was going to up it to 11.
I paid $31.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Desperate people, i.e., people without David Johnson, do desperate things.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
you needed a running back start. I don't blame you
Had
at
to
all
do
for
it.
this move.
Get 2 weeks of a starter with Jaquiz Rogers.
And steal him from me because we're both in the same position playing each other. All right. Well,
yeah, we are facing each other. All right, the Texans take on the New England Patriots. The Patriots are 13.5-point favorites in Foxborough. Last week, the defense showed up a little bit against the Saints.
They showed up a lot in the first half. It was that climb from behind where
you soften your defense up.
Yeah.
You let people get down the field. I dropped the Rams D to pick up the Patriots D and play them this week. I just think it's a terrible situation for Deshaun Watson to have to go into Foxborough and face a Patriots defense that, albeit they're finding their way a little bit. Malcolm Butler may not be in, but let's talk about fantasy storylines beyond the defense here. The Texans, Deshaun Watson, last week had the big single play. He's hyper-targeting DeAndre Hopkins. So is DeAndre Hopkins startable this week in New England, likely to play from behind, leading, by the way, through 2 weeks, 48% of the team's targets. That's more than 10% of a lead over the second highest wide receiver
Wow.
in the NFL.
Here's the deal. DeAndre Hopkins, he's startable every single week. You have to play him. But Bill Belichick's defensive strategy is frequently, I'm going to pick one player from your team, and I will remove them from the offense. Now, you can't fully remove DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to get targets. He'll get some receptions, but I would not expect a big day. Deshaun Watson, the fantasy output last week was usable.
One play.
He was a QB1 on that scramble. I would not want to play anyone from that team besides Hopkins and Miller if you have to.
Mike Gillislee, the start of the week this week. James White, Rex Burkhead, Deion Lewis, peripheral.
Well, Burkhead would probably be out.
Right. But the Patriots running backs have 181 receiving yards this year. That is most in the NFL. James White, start him.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
James White is a great player.
Okay. What are your thoughts on Hogan in this matchup? Hogan, Amendola. Who would you choose between those two if you need a spot start?
Right now I think
Scoring format matters. For me.
it does, but I lean that Amendola is going to I'm more confident in Amendola because I know what his role is. He's going to be the chain mover, the quick slant guy. Hogan, like Brandon Cooks, their ceiling is tremendous, but they're not going to receive as many targets. So it does depend. I mean, if you're in a standard league, I'd go Hogan. If you're in a half point, full point, I'd go Amendola.
And I have a fantasy football player's plea for Bill Belichick, so that falls on someone who is not paying attention. Don't let Danny Amendola return punts.
Seriously.
Just have him play in the offense and catch some passes.
Let Brandon Cooks return them.
Yeah, I mean, just anyone but Amendola. I mean, the hit points.
Garoppolo.
The hit points cannot handle staying alive with all those punt returns.
No, every game he starts out with a certain amount of hit points, and if you deplete them on a punt, that's just you're wasting those.
You are.
Because you can only take 4 hits. 4 total hits in the game. All right, the Dolphins take on the Jets in New York. Mike likes Jay Cutler as a stream in this game. The backfield in New York is a mess. However, Matt Forte seems to be at the top of the heap, the trash heap.
Yeah, he does.
And so if you need a start, you could do worse than Matt Forte. He should give you Gore light numbers in New York. Jay Ajayi, we talked about him. So
Jay Ajayi is going to run for 700 yards. I mean,
he is quite possibly.
He is
quite possible.
Obviously, with Todd Gurley's performance, he won't finish this way. But both Mike and I have Jay Ajayi ranked as the #1 rusher in our weekly rankings. I mean, he has destroyed the Jets before. Now the Jets' defense is much worse.
They're allowing 33 points a game, and that's just follow the game script on that. The Dolphins can get it done through the air, and then Jay Ajayi is just going to close it out.
The Jets have given up 33 points a game, the worst in the league, which has to just be painful for Todd Bowles, being a defensive-minded coach. By the way, not 100% certain, but we're pretty sure we're going to have Matt Forte on the show next week.
Oh.
So we'll be able to ask him some Jets questions, what it's like being in that environment right now, what the expectations are for that team, and what he thinks of guys like Jermaine Kearse joining the roster. He's a player that, through 2 games, has been great. Talked about Robbie Anderson maybe not playing.
Get some insight maybe on Austin Seferian-Jenkins.
Sure. Yeah. Do you think Jermaine Kearse is start-worthy this week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I mean, he is the #1 for an NFL team that will be down and need to throw the ball. So I think Kearse is a flex.
Yeah, especially with Bowles
play.
saying that Austin Seferian-Jenkins may not suit up for this game. That's the only concern with Kearse, is that someone else is an actual athletic guy that can get open and catch passes. That's what Seferian-Jenkins is. But if he's not playing, then sure, fire up Kearse.
All right, the Giants travel to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles in, well, this is my...
Andy's almost upset of the week.
All right, the Giants take on the Eagles. Eagles 6-point favorites, 43-point over/under in Philadelphia. This is the game. This is a divisional matchup in which I think the Giants are able to put some pressure on Carson Wentz, and Eli Manning as a fully healthy or close to healthy Odell Beckham Jr.
He's off the injury report.
He is. He's off the injury report. I think they turn it around a little bit. I think you see some success, and I think this game's going to be really, really close. I think the Giants could take it.
I hope it's close from a standpoint that, you know, both teams are scoring. I mean, I agreed with you on the over for the the Rams-Niners, but I don't think I agree here. With some of the injuries, it looks right now like Jenkins is not going to play. That's a pretty big deal. I mean, that's still up in the air.
Norris,
yeah,
you're talking about?
And also the right tackle for the Giants is, I believe he's been ruled out for this week. So the pressure to Eli Manning will be there from this Eagles defense. Hopefully it's a high-scoring game. I really like what we've been seeing from Alshon, and he's a really good start this week.
Yeah. Oh, I love Alshon this week.
Yeah.
Keep, trade, cut. You ready?
Yep.
Brandon Marshall, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram.
Keep Evan Ingram.
I would keep Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, that's probably
cut
fair.
Brandon Marshall
and trade
Ingram.
Ingram. Yeah, I can get on board with that.
Why are people not talking about Alshon Jeffrey?
I think it's just because so many people wanted to hate him this offseason.
I also think a lot of it, week one bias is a real thing. What happens in week one, people extrapolate too far. You have to wait too many weeks until you see a trend that bucks what your brain said is the whole season in week one. And, what we saw last week was that Alshon was the man. And this week, I think this is a good matchup for him, assuming that Jenkins doesn't play. And
when you've also seen, quite possibly, a true level up for Carson Wentz. And on top of that, they can't run the ball. So that means they have to throw, and that means just good things will be happening for Alshon Jeffrey. And Alshon Jeffrey has always been a stud. When he's on the field, he performs. He gets hurt frequently, at least he has in recent history, but when he's on the field, he's a monster. He bet on himself, and I liked Alshon coming into the season.
Yeah, I wanted to make a case against Alshon early this offseason, and every time that I would kind of prepare an argument, I just look at the data and go, wow, Alshon's really good. I mean, his issue is injuries. If he's out there, he's going to be great. I really like him this week.
Definitely agree with your take on the offensive line in New York. They're going to have to be able to do a little bit more to protect Eli and to get the ball out of his hands. One of the ways they've done that is with passing the ball to their running backs. I think they're second most in the league, 18 receptions to the running back in New York. If you have to start a running back on either of these teams, I think you're starting Darren Sproles and Shane Vereen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Congrats. Congratulations.
So this is a passing affair.
Well, and the whispers in the bushes are saying Orleans Darkwa could get his shot this weekend. Does that matter to either of you?
No, I mean it won't matter until after you see something. You can't. That's not a glory play.
That's
willing to.
a fab buy.
Right. If you see something special afterwards, obviously you start your Zach Ertz's every week. He is to me an absolute weekly matchup proof tight end right now because of the volume of targets.
You start your Zach Ertz's?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
If you got more than one, get them both in.
Get them both in the lineup. Okay. Seahawks at Tennessee. Tennessee a 2.5-point favorite, a 42.5-point over/under. And where has Russell Wilson gone?
Where has Russell Wilson gone?
Down. He's gone to the grass.
Some people asking where is Marcus Mariota gone?
Well, he's still there.
He had a really tough matchup last week.
He's Groundhog Day. I mean, he peeks his head up. He's like, "Is this a good defense? Okay, I'm going back down. I'm gonna sleep for a little bit longer."
Okay, wonderful. This is an interesting game because I think Tennessee should win it. I'm not sure they do win it. I think a lot of people are looking at the Chris Carson decision this week. Do you start Chris Carson? Would you start Chris Carson over DeMarco Murray or Derrick Henry, who are in a shaky backfield?
Nope.
No.
No, if Murray is playing, and I've voiced some hesitance, but I would still play him over Chris Carson.
Yeah, the Seahawks see that Chris Carson can get all the carries, but Tennessee's defense is pretty good. They're at home, and the Seahawks have averaged 10.5 points per game this year, which is 5th worst in the league. 10 points a game distributed amongst all of those options is not going to get it done.
Would you stream the Titans defense? Are we that down on Seattle's offense that we're willing to do it?
I would stream the Tennessee defense at home.
I think I would do it too.
It's simply an offensive line equation there where you're going to have sacks. You're going to get to Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson only completing 56% of passes right now, and I think I'd lean into that if you had to stream a defense. Jason, you said no.
Yeah, I mean, look, I guess a low-end option. I believe they're number 11 in my rankings, so that is startable. But I'm not excited, and I don't look at Seattle as a regular matchup where I want to target against them despite what they've done so far. I mean, we have now 2 years in a row history of Seattle starting slow offensively and then towards the second half of the season really ramping up. Now, we're still really
last year
early.
It was Russell Wilson injured game 1.
Sure.
So there's no injury right now.
Yeah, no, but my point is we've seen them be able to get it together. You know, 2 years ago when they lost Marshawn Lynch, they figured out – it took them a couple games, and they figured out how to move the ball. I think they'll be able to correct their offensive woes, and I don't see Tennessee as a good enough defense that it couldn't happen against that matchup.
Do you think Seattle's offensive line, they gather together, they throw on game tape of the Giants' offensive line, and they're like, man, those guys are good.
Did you ever know that you're my hero?
Because the Seahawks offensive line, poor Wilson, man. That is not a good situation.
Pro Football Focus, I have not vetted this stat, but I believe they rank them as the 33rd offensive line. Now, I'm not 100% on that, but I believe they are the 33rd ranked offensive line.
Bengals take on the Packers at Lambeau. Packers 9-point favorites.
Oh, we have breaking news there.
44.5-point over-under. We do have breaking news. Tyler
So
Eifert.
hit the button.
No, it's not. We had talked about this. We had thought he wasn't going to play. Eifert has officially been ruled out.
You can't stop the music, man.
Okay, Eifert's gone. Good news for Andy Dalton, right?
Yep.
Good luck, Andy.
Yeah.
AJ Green. AJ Green's going to get a lot of targets this week.
Joe Mixon, Jeremy Hill, Gio Bernard. You're starting 0 of these players?
Correct.
If you absolutely have to throw one in, I mean, the matchup can surprise. I think people are obviously down on the entire Cincinnati offense. It makes sense. Andy Dalton has been very bad, but this is one of those where if you want to take a dart throw at, there's a couple logical reasons to explain if you see a good Cincinnati offense come through. For instance,
do not say you're starting Joe Mixon.
I'm not saying that I'm
Well, he
starting.
is in our league of record because he has to.
I was trying to pick up Jaquiz Rogers to play over him, but I was not willing to drop $31 of fab, apparently. My point is simply this. You fire the offensive coordinator. You put in an offensive coordinator that has been very successful for fantasy options when they've had that role in the past, and your week 1 and week 2 matchups were against really good, tough opponents. So now you go to Green Bay.
How dare you, says Green Bay.
So now you go to Green Bay. You might need to score more.
So play Gio Bernard if you have to play any of them.
Yeah, maybe.
That would be – if for some reason you have 3 Bengals on your roster, first, take a look in the mirror and evaluate your life as a fantasy football player. But 2, and then it would be play Gio because they're going to be trailing.
Packers tight ends have been targeted more than any other team in the league this year between Rodgers and Bennett. And Bennett has a ton of targets this season. A lot of that has to do, I think, losing Jordy, losing Cobb. It's early. But Bennett is a very start-worthy tight end.
Yeah, this week especially in the sense that Randall Cobb, we both, Mike and I, he's going to be a game-time decision, but we lean out. If he is gone, then they just have to use him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. If Cobb is out, you're starting Jordy Nelson no matter what if he's active?
Correct.
Devontae Adams?
No matter what either.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Start Aaron Rodgers, guys. Chiefs at Chargers. Another divisional battle. The Chargers are 3-point underdogs at home in this one. 47.5-point over-under. We're expecting some points to fly in this game. Alex Smith, do you start him for a third straight week?
So Jason Verrett is trending towards out again, and he's a huge piece of the Chargers' pass defense. I think you can. I think that you can stream Alex Smith yet again.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, if you look at what Jay Cutler did last week when Verrett was out and they went to Jarvis Landry left, right, and center, if you can target Tyreek Hill underneath with that same kind of follow that game plan, you give Tyreek Hill that many opportunities to break something off, and all of a sudden Alex Smith can throw another 70-yard touchdown pass that is a screen pass.
No, that's a strong point. You start Smith, Hunt, Hill, and Kelsey on the Chiefs side without pause.
What a world we live in.
The Chiefs.
Where you're like, man, the Chiefs offense, I'm starting them all.
34.5 points a game.
Well, they got rid of that Jeremy Maclin guy, so that now they're exploding.
Excellent viewpoint.
Whatever.
Excellent take. Phillip Rivers. I think people want to know, do you start Rivers or do you start Mariota or do you start Russell Wilson this week? If you had to choose between those three.
Rivers.
So Rivers runs right through it?
Oh.
Melvin Gordon, you're starting him. Keenan Allen, you're starting him. What about Hunter Henry, Antonio Gates? You have to pick one of those guys. You've got the coin flip the last 2 games.
I'm starting Hunter Henry if I have to pick one of those two.
All right, I'm looking forward to Sunday Night Football. The Raiders and Redskins. The Redskins 3-point underdogs at home. 54 point over under. I'm excited about this game. Let me jump into Terrell Pryor here.
Okay.
Because you might get caught up in it. Terrell Pryor, this is the make or break game for Terrell Pryor. People want to know, do you give up on Terrell Pryor? I am a believer in Terrell Pryor until he gives me a reason to reanalyze the situation in this matchup. 54-point over-under. They're going to need to pass the ball. You have questions at the running back position this week in Washington, and Pryor has been on the field for the majority for more snaps than any other pass catcher in Washington. You may not have a healthy Jordan Reed. You may not have Jordan Reed at all. If Pryor cannot take advantage of this situation, these circumstances, the Raiders are middle of the pack thus far through the year, and I think this is the make or break. If he does not do it here, I will be looking for I'll be looking at streaming options instead of Terrell Pryor.
Interesting. I like your take. I have been the most against the Washington Redskins offense of the three of us by a mile. This week, I believe that they'll get it done. Being at home, Kirk Cousins, this is the Oakland Raiders. They've looked great. Their defense has been all right, just middle of the pack, and I believe that Kirk can get it done. Like I said, he might have 2 interceptions and some really bad throws, but the points, I think, they're not going to be able to stop Oakland. And so they're just going to, out of necessity, have to keep airing it out, keep throwing. So, if you go to halftime, you might be upset with your Washington Redskins options, but I think you're going to have a second half of this game where they just need to score points, and you're going to get fantasy value during that game stretch.
Derek Carr, surprisingly, and I had to vet this, he's not throwing the ball downfield thus far this year. I believe he has 1 out of 60 passes over 20 yards.
He's living with the crab people.
Mr. Crabtree?
That's right.
And so it's very interesting to me. Now, Carr, you know how you said the offensive line, they go and watch video of New York?
Right.
I think Russell Wilson goes and watches video of the Oakland offensive line.
Seattle just cries while he's eating ice cream on the couch.
They can't even handle it. If they put on Raiders tape, they would all just disintegrate and melt.
The Raiders
have puddles of shame.
Have allowed pressure to Derek Carr on 5.9% of dropbacks. So Derek Carr takes the snap.
Is David Carr? I mean, how if you're the other brother that was drafted first, and you go and you are on one of the worst offensive lines in modern history, and now you watch your brother go, he gets to bake a cake while he's.
If you're a good brother, you're very happy for him.
Yeah.
Get that name.
Yep.
All right. So Derek Carr must start. I know we love him.
Yeah, he's a great start. I mean,
do you start Cousins though?
Yeah, I do.
I do this week.
All right.
Quick update: Rob Kelly and Jordan Reed are practicing today.
Okay.
All right.
Glad I paid $31 for the Quiz Rogers because he's looking better than P. Ryan right now.
Yeah. And Crabtree and Cooper, there you start him every week. I talked about Jared Cook as my start of the week from the tight end. If you're at this point saying, like, let's say you had Eifert, you were really hoping, and Jared Cook is still on the waiver wire, I think that he is a fine play.
I want to rewind your throwaway comment there that you start Cooper every week. If I had to sit a guy, like if we had
you'd be willing to sit
If I
Cooper?
had a sit of the week, I would be willing to sit Cooper this week.
Because of Josh Norman?
Because of Josh Norman. And because of, it's all dependent on your options, right? I'm not sitting Amari Cooper I don't think I have what it takes to sit him for like Rashad Higgins.
You're just lowering expectations.
Absolutely. I would say that if you're in a matchup, here's an example. Let's say you face Todd Gurley or you face Carlos Hyde last night. So you know that you've got to make up a little bit. I'm not leaning on Cooper to make that up for you.
See, that's ironic.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say if that
Cooper's
was the situation, Cooper could go off.
Cooper cannot go off against Josh Norman.
But
that's my contention. The odds of him going off are vastly lowered by his opposition right here. Derek Carr is not going to force the ball to Amari Cooper against Josh Norman. That's just not what a good quarterback does. You look at what Aaron Rodgers does with Richard Sherman. I saw some stat the other day. He almost never targets any receiver ever covered by Richard Sherman because he's a quarterback that looks to the opportunity. You've got Crabtree. You've got Cook that Mike just brought up. You have the running backs out of the backfield. So,
all right, so you're looking for explosion. Amari Cooper or Road Martavis Bryant?
Amari Cooper or Road Martavis. I'll take Road Martavis Bryant.
I would take Cooper.
Okay.
Anybody want a Terrell Pryor Amari Cooper bet this week? We don't have a water bet yet, and we're getting to Friday.
No, because I think we all like Pryor this week.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not completely against your stance here on Cooper.
How about Cooper outside the top 15?
Ooh.
Anybody want that?
I'll take the Cooper Martavis.
Yeah, because I see a world where Cooper is outside of the top 15.
Okay. Well, we just won't bet. We'll
darn.
just be
Boring.
real boring. All right, you just heard the Jordan Reed, Rob Kelly news. You start Chris Thompson? If you have to? Would you rather start Thompson or Vereen?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I would go Vereen there. They're using him. He'll have more volume, so I would lean Vereen.
Okay. Monday Night Football. The Cowboys take on the Cardinals in Arizona. The Cardinals 3-point dogs at home. 47-point over-under. We haven't seen We haven't seen great football from the Cardinals this season. You have a lot of injuries, obviously. Chris Johnson should get an increased amount of snaps.
Yes.
I actually think Chris Johnson is somebody that I was targeting this week. Before I noticed Jaquiz Rodgers out there on the waiver wire, I was trying to get Chris Johnson. I think I would start Chris Johnson over Matt Forte this week. And you're at home, and it's actually kind of comedic. The last 3 times the Cowboys have played Arizona at home, the Cardinals have won last-second games against Dallas.
There was a game on Christmas, and it was a Christmas miracle. I was there to experience it. It was fantastic.
Was that the game where we blocked the punt and returned it for a touchdown in overtime?
I don't believe so.
Okay. 3 straight, though. Ezekiel Elliott, does he get back on track against the Cardinals' 10th-ranked run defense?
Yes. I think the Cowboys have to go and look at their play calling and say we need to not do what we did last game when we got blown out, and we need to run the ball more like we have done while we were winning games over the last year and a half. So I think they're going to force the issue, and I've said this before. The Cardinals' rush defense I think is not as great as it has been.
It's been pretty good for 2 games.
I mean,
right?
10th.
Yeah, but I say they've been solid.
Top 10.
Yeah, I would take a top 10.
Sure,
if you said
they're in
our
the top
defense
10.
in the top 10, I would say that's a good defense.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it's not like they haven't been in years past. I mean, I think we maybe read too much into how badly they struggled in the preseason against the run. That being said, it's Ezekiel Elliott. You're not sitting Ezekiel Elliott.
Nope.
And so let's move on to Des Bryant. To Jason's point, no team has passed the wide receiver, targeted their wide receivers more than Dallas. Jason, you found, I don't know if you remember it here on the air, but what was the red zone? Mike, you had a red zone stat about Dallas?
I will pull it up.
It had to do with just the frequency that they are targeting wide receivers in the red zone this year thus far. People have to wonder why.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking what they are doing.
I mean, look at Witten.
When you have Ezekiel Elliott, through 2 weeks, the leader in attempts inside the 10 is Dak Prescott. I mean, that's shocking To get inside the 10 and not just say, okay, well, every single time we're going to give the ball to Elliott. So they're passing inside the 10. They're passing inside the red zone. It's interesting. It's going to be a really tough matchup, though, for Dez Bryant. Patrick Peterson is playing at an elite level yet again. I'm not going to bench Dez, but this is what Andy was saying about Amari Cooper. Lower your expectations, but a line of, say, 30 yards and a score, that's well within the realm of possibilities for Dez Bryant.
Cooper or Bryant?
I would play Dez.
Jason?
I would play Cooper.
Good news for the Arizona Cardinals offensive line. The Cowboys defense has pressured opposing quarterbacks on just 10.3% of dropbacks.
I think that's going up this week.
It's probably going up this week, but is Carson Palmer a streaming option at home against Dallas? The defense has struggled.
The Cowboys secondary is not very good. I mean, week 1, that was a product of the Giants offensive line, Dallas looking like a dominant defense. Then you had Trevor Siemian just wax ecstatic all over the place.
Okay.
So I think that Carson Palmer is not my favorite. You're not going to feel good about that at all. You will have zero confidence, but he will likely end up as a quarterback 1.
And lastly, any concern with starting Dak this week?
None.
No.
Okay. Any other questions you guys want to tackle in this game, or can we move on to the Daily Dose?
Get me some quarterbacks.
The Daily Dose, brought to you by PlayDraft.
All right, it's time, guys. It's Friday. And don't forget, you can get the Fantasy Footballers DFS podcast, which released this morning, correct?
It certainly did.
On iTunes, on Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts.
That's the update.
It's a separate podcast.
It is on Stitcher.
It is on Stitcher. So we are going to jump right into a live draft, 1v1v1. The loser has to eat something terrible this week for lunch.
And we've changed
chosen
it up
by the winners.
What you can do on PlayDraft, I mean, you can play, a regular game. All players are accessible. Last week we did what they call an experts draft, where they remove a huge chunk of the top options, makes things a little bit more difficult when you're doing these, a 3-person draft. And this week we're going all quarterbacks. It's getting out of control here. And I have the first pick again. So, hey, guys, guess who I'm going to take with my first pick?
I'm going to guess Aaron Rodgers.
How did you know?
I'm on the clock. Aaron Rodgers is somehow gone. I'm gonna actually zag a little bit. I'm gonna take Tom Brady.
Dang it, he was who I was wanting.
With the second pick. This is every single week we do this. I am never on the turn.
Well,
I have always been the second pick in the draft. You guys are cheating.
I'm gonna go ahead and grab Matt Ryan. I think that there's a lot of points scored in that Falcons-Lions game. This is where it gets a little interesting to me. I am going to hope for the upside of the downside of New Orleans, and I'm taking Cam Newton.
I don't blame you.
I'm going to go ahead and this is an all-quarterback draft. Take Derek Carr with my second quarterback.
Ooh, that's a great pick, and I'm actually happy because you have left Matty Snapback on the board, so Matt Stafford has joined the Fantasy Hitman team. Oh, I'm on the turn, so that means I get to pick again. And I will take the compliment. Oh, I think, is that what I want to do? Yeah, I'm going to take the compliment for Derek Carr. I'm going to chase those Vegas points. I'm going to take Kirk Cousins at home. Prime time.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm on the clock again with my third pick. I'm taking Phillip Rivers against Kansas City at home.
Yeah, that's a nice pick.
In this matchup. And turn it over to Jason to make his pair of quarterback picks.
My pair of quarterback picks. Look,
the top 2 fantasy quarterbacks are still on the board.
Trevor Siemian and Alex Smith. I'm going to take Drew Brees as my first, stack it up against Cam Newton, and just hope that the points are rolling in that matchup. I believe I will. This is where it gets tough. I'm going to go with my guy in Dak Prescott.
All right, I will go ahead and take the other side of my matchup. I'm grabbing Alex Smith here with the fourth pick of the quarterback draft, turning it over to Mike.
All right, I'm going to grab my stream/start of the week in Smokin' Jay Cuddy.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to complete this team. Ooh, this is a tough pick right here.
I've got a guy I hope you leave for me.
You do?
Yeah.
Who is it?
It's I really hope you leave Josh McCown. I just leave him there.
I don't know who to pick, guys.
Oh, man, there is a
8 seconds left for Mike.
All right, I know he's on the road, but I'm going to go with Big Ben.
Oh, that's the guy I wanted you to leave me. Now I've got to make a tough decision. All right, my last pick in this draft. Only 20 seconds left, and I don't know where to go.
That's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen.
I've got mine.
These drafts are fast
I really
and
hope
furious.
you don't take them.
30
They
seconds.
are fast and furious.
30 seconds seems like you're like, that's plenty of time.
You
Before you know it, you have 10 seconds left, and you've got to make a hard decision.
I'm gonna take Andy Dalton.
Oh, whoa.
No.
Man, so I'm actually in a tough spot here because Russell Wilson's up there. His upside is there.
No, it's not.
But I think I want to go Carson Wentz.
Ooh. Yeah, Carson Wentz was in strong consideration for me.
Carson Wentz or Russell Wilson? Carson Wentz.
Oh, Carson Wentz.
I'm going Russell Wilson.
There
Yeah.
you go. All right, Mike, you have Aaron Rodgers, Matt
Good
Stafford,
luck.
Kirk Cousins, Jay Cutler, and Big Ben. That's an impressive line. I've got Brady, Carr, Rivers, Smith, Dalton.
What? Dalton
I just
tilt,
want the glory of Dalton succeeding for this
Dalton
roster.
tilt pick.
And then Jason has Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Drew Brees, Dak Prescott, and Russell Wilson. And we will see how that plays out this week.
Yeah, I like that too.
So I'm thanks to
Andy,
PlayDraft.
tell everybody how you're not going to eat something bad again this week. That worked out real well for you last week on the play draft.
What?
Yeah, you're like, well, I know it's going to be one of these two guys.
Oh, you mean
eating.
I was being overconfident and cocky?
Yeah. Are you going to win this week?
I lost.
Are you going to win
I
this
get
week?
it. I lost. Hey, look at all these Todd Gurley statues. Have
Andy
you seen all
can't
these Todd
possibly
Gurley
lose
statues?
today.
All
There's no
right.
losing.
Hey, make sure you don't forget about Squad QL. If you want an unfair advantage to dominate your fantasy football league, look no further than Squad QL. It's a mobile app you need to crush your friends and rivals this year. Squad QL recommends the best starting lineup for each week based on your starters and your bench and the free agent pool. Head to squadql.com to download Squad QL for free. Again, that's squadql.com to download the app for free.
All right, thanks for tuning in today. Good luck in your matchups this week, and we appreciate your support.
Go check out the DFS podcast. Even if you've said, I've never played any DFS in my life, go check it out. It will equip you to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good
Take
luck,
care.
Footclan. See you Monday. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.